Hello, my name is Israel Calderon, and today I'm going to go over the user maintenance for the Tissue-Tek film. In today's video, we will discuss operator maintenance for daily, weekly, and monthly cleaning. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the daily maintenance for the Tissue-Tek film cover slipper. So you want to go ahead and open the door, and then you can clean off any excess debris that might have fallen. It's always going to come out from here and make its way down here. So there's a funnel here that catches the xylene. That xylene goes down into the waste bottle. Sometimes it traps little pieces of debris, film debris as well. So you can clean that, just clean it out. Then it's going to put it back in. And then also on the arm, you can clean that off, and it'll make its way down here. And then if there's something like a piece of film or something that got caught on the conveyor, you can also clean that out. Sometimes there's a small amount of debris that'll accumulate over the course of the day. So you can always take this load station container out. Just be cautious that it'll have, most customers use xylene, so just make sure you don't spill the xylene. And then you can clean any of this base area here for the load station, and even in this area here, just go ahead and clean off any areas that have any debris. You don't want that building up and possibly interfering with the movement of the load station when it's in operation. Once you're done, go ahead and put your load station back in place. Slide it in, close the door. The last thing you want to do for the daily maintenance is the xylene waste container. So over the course of the day, it's going to fill up with xylene. Not too much, but whatever it does catch, you just want to make sure that you just dispose of it, whichever way you dispose of your used xylene. So once you've emptied out the xylene out of the bottle, you can go ahead and replace it back in. Put that back into place, and it's ready for the next time it's being used. Okay, so now the weekly user maintenance of the Tissue-Tek film. So for this maintenance, you want to make sure you turn off the instrument, and we're going to go ahead and pull back the film. This is going to be our first step. So normally the film's going to be, it's going to go through all 7 rollers. As you can see, they're all labeled here. All you're going to do is pull it back, and you could pull it back as much as you want as long as you get it out of roller number 7. So first we're going to clean the xylene bottle. So we want to clean this xylene bottle because this is our fresh, clean bottle of xylene, and that xylene is going to be pumped in through this line. It's going to go inside the unit, and it's going to make its way out to dispense a little bit of xylene at a time on every slide that gets cover slipped right before the actual cover slip is placed on the slide. So you always want to make sure that you do have clean xylene. Never use recycled xylene. That is not recommended. If you want optimal cover slipping, you want to make sure you always use fresh, new, clean xylene. So once you've cleaned out the bottle, there's also a filter here. You don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to mention it briefly. It gets replaced on a yearly PM. There's a filter in here, but that's done by a trained technician. So once I've cleaned out my xylene bottle, I'll go ahead and lift this back up, put it into place, push it down. After that, you want to do a prime on the once you in the on the keypad there, you're going to see a prime option. Just go ahead and prime it so you can get the air out, because you did remove it out of the line. So prime it a few times and just get the air out until you get a nice solid stream on top there for the dispensing of the xylene. Also, you want to inspect your baskets on a weekly basis. So because they go through a lot of wear and tear, there's slides, it's glass going in and out. Sometimes you get errors. Sometimes the baskets are dropped. You do want to inspect your baskets. You want to make sure that they have all the teeth in place, that they're not broken. Make sure all these are in good shape, both sides. Make sure they're not warped. Don't try to clean them in a microwave. They could be cleaned with xylene. If you do heat them in the oven, they will melt. So if you soak them in xylene, they will be clean. And just also inspect for damage. Also, we want to clean the conveyor. So to clean the conveyor and to make it a little bit easier, there's a couple of pieces here that we can remove. This one here traps little pieces of film, and this here is it helps with the basket adapters. So I'm going to remove it just to show you and make it a little bit easier for viewing. Remove that, and then I'll remove this as well. Okay, so now that we can see the conveyor a little better, you want to get a cotton swab with a little bit of xylene, not too much, and then you want to start cleaning the back of the conveyor here. Normally you will accumulate a lot of tissue debris and just little pieces of fine dust and dirt just in general. So, and also even a little bit of adhesive from the film. And sometimes when there's errors and things like that, then that adhesive sticks here. There's stuff that accumulates. So you just want to make sure that you clean this on a weekly basis. Both sides of the conveyor, the front and the rear. And then also the front. So you can move this return ejector back and just clean the front. Make sure that's clean. You can also clean the return ejector here. And then also you have the ejector. You can clean the ejector as well, the tip. And then you have these little guide rollers. You want to make sure that these are always springy and the actual roller is spinning. You can always just, again, the cotton swab, and then just turn it, spin it, and you'll be cleaning it as you're turning it. And whatever's on there will come off, will gradually come off. Another thing you want to clean is this lower pinch roller. You can see me moving it here. It's a rubber pinch roller. It's black, and that basically pulls the piece of cut film onto the slide. So in order for it to pull it, it has to be nice and clean. It has to have a nice rubbery touch to it. So when you inspect it, you want to make sure it's like a dull rubber color and not shiny or white, or it has any kind of debris or film pieces stuck to it. If it has any of that, then you're most likely to have some issues during cover slipping. So you want to make sure that you really clean there. So clean a little bit at a time, and then manually spin it to another area, and then clean the next piece, and then continue cleaning until the entire roller is cleaned. Earlier we said we had to pull the film back. So if I had the film in place, and I didn't let this roller dry, then the film would get stuck as it goes through. That's the reason why we pull back the film. We allow the roller to be cleaned and then dried. And then once it's dry and we finish the maintenance, we can go ahead and roll the film back into place. Also, there's another roller here, which we call the pressure roller. So the pressure roller is this white roller that presses down. So as soon as the film is placed on the slide, this pressure roller goes down and it applies pressure to the film to secure it onto the slide. So this pressure roller has to be, the color of the roller is white. A lot of the times it looks pink, brown, black, because there's so much accumulation of debris on it. So you want to make sure that you really get in there and clean that roller, spin it, make sure it freely spins, as well as the lower pinch roller. They should both freely spin, and make sure it's nice and clean so it can have a nice pressure every time it puts the pressure on the cover slips and slide. Now for the monthly user maintenance, there's 3 things to check for. Number 1, the waste tray. So earlier I removed the waste tray to show the cleaning of the conveying area. Here I'm going to show you why we need to clean this out. So you're going to get accumulation of little bits of cut film that will accumulate in here. You just want to empty this out and have it clean so it could keep collecting. That's just part of the normal monthly checks. So make sure you clean the waste tray. And then earlier I also told you about the baskets, to inspect them for any damage, any tear, and then clean any of them that were dirty. So for the monthly, it's a good idea to get all of the baskets and actually put them in a bucket and soak them overnight in xylene, just to get them all cleaned out once a month. The most important part of this machine is the maintenance in this area here. The overall maintenance, of course, but if you keep this area clean here, it's going to avoid a lot of unnecessary errors. And it only takes about 5 minutes a day to do this. Okay, and the third thing we want to check is replacing the carbon filters. So replacing the carbon filters would be every 2 to 4 weeks, 2 if you're consistently using the machine, and then if not, it would be around 4 weeks. So in order to get the filters, you want to remove the carousel. So just lift up the carousel, move it out of the way, put it in a safe area. You don't want to drop the carousel because that will cause serious damage and you may not be able to use the instrument after that. So put it in a safe place. Here's the 2 filters. And you could just take them out and then get the new filters. Again, you can put them in this way, or this way, this way, this way. And it also has the label there, so you can put the date that you replaced them on, just to help you keep track of the next time you need to replace the filters. Put it back and then close the lid. When you put the carousel back into place, make sure you look at the bottom because it is keyed. So you don't want to, it's only going to go in one specific way. You can't just put it in any way you want. So match up the pins here with the holes. Sometimes it takes a couple tries. But once you line up the holes with the pins, then it'll go back into place. Okay, so now I'm just going to talk about the cutter blade here that we have. So the cutter blade, you want to replace it every 10,000 slides or the equivalent of 10 rolls of film. So in order to replace that, there's a little This little piece here, you want to pull it out, and then the blade comes out with the little holder. So this comes off. You're going to get your new blade, put it back on the same way. Okay, so once you have the new cutter blade, you're going to insert it the same way here. And you're going to help guide it by pressing down on the top of it just to push it in a little bit further. And then pull it in the back. And last thing to mention, the film. So when you get a new roll of film, you want to acclimate it 24 hours before it's actually used. So what you could do is before your next roll, go ahead and open the roll that's coming after this one ends. Open it out of the box, out of the bag, and just let it sit somewhere in the lab. You could be near the cover slipper, doesn't make a difference. So it could just acclimate to the lab before it's used. The last thing to say about the film is you always want to make sure that Tissue-Tek is showing towards you. Okay, so that concludes the daily, weekly, and monthly operator maintenance for the Tissue-Tek film. Please reference the care of the instrument handout for further guidance. Thanks for watching.